My child, imagine this. A woman sits alone in a small wooden house at the far edge of the city. The trees around it lean inward as if listening. The night is heavy, pressing against the windows. Inside, every candle burns low and uneven, each flame shaking as though it fears what is about to happen. She is not young and not old, her hair streaked with gray, her hands thin and restless. And before her, on a narrow table covered in a black cloth, rests an altar. At the center of that altar lies a picture. Your picture. Yes, yours, my child. She doesn't look at the candles or the walls, she looks at that picture as though it holds the secret to everything she ever lost. Her eyes flicker with a strange light, half sorrow, half anger. She whispers your name. Once. Twice. Again. Each time softer, lower, until it no longer sounds like a name but like a call to something beneath the earth. She thinks she is in control. She believes she is the master of the ritual she learned from a crumbling book someone gave her years ago. She doesn't realize that every word she mutters is a key turning in a lock that was never meant to open. The air thickens. The candles bend backward as if the oxygen has been pulled from the room. The sound of insects outside fades until there is nothing, no wind, no movement, only a silence that feels alive. Then the wood of the floor creaks though no one steps on it. The shadows near the ceiling ripple. She feels the presence first, a weight pressing down on her chest, and she smiles. It's working, she whispers. It's finally working. She dips her fingers into a bowl of dark liquid, a mix of ash, oil, and something that looks like blood. She draws a crooked circle around your picture. Inside that circle she writes symbols she does not understand. And when she speaks again, her voice no longer sounds like hers. Rise. Hear me. Come from the pit below. See the one I offer. The room tilts. The air seems to twist into knots. And from the corner nearest the door, darkness begins to crawl. It isn't the absence of light, it is a shape, thick, breathing, aware. It moves along the wall, stretching taller than the woman herself. It has eyes that are not eyes, a mouth that isn't a mouth, but she can feel it watching her. Her body shakes, but she forces herself to smile. Yes, she whispers. You're here. She kneels, pressing her forehead to the ground, worshipping what she has called. The thing leans forward, studying the table. She lifts your picture toward it. This is the one, she says. The word echoes through the house, bounces off the walls, and the candles flare blue. Your picture trembles. The ink on it seems to darken, your printed eyes almost blinking. Even the creature pauses. It has seen many faces, but not one that carries light. Your name holds power it doesn't understand. The room itself groans under the strain of that contradiction, light being shown to darkness. The woman doesn't notice. She's too far gone, lost in envy. This one, she repeats. She is the reason I am small. She is the one who smiles while I weep. Break her joy. Turn her peace into dust. Make her afraid of her own shadow. Her words slice the air like knives. The creature nods, or something like a nod, and slips toward the door. It doesn't walk. It flows, silent, invisible, sliding through cracks and beneath the threshold. The moment it leaves, every candle dies. The woman exhales, satisfied. She thinks the work is finished. She doesn't see that the floorboards under her altar have begun to smoke. She doesn't hear the faint whisper behind her, "You have called what you cannot command." Across the city, miles away, you stir in your sleep. A cold draft moves through your room though every window is shut. The clock reads 3:11 a.m. You open your eyes to darkness and stillness so complete it feels unnatural. Your heart beats faster, you don't know why. You whisper a short prayer without even thinking, God, be with me. That whisper is enough. Above you, unseen, a pulse of light expands like breath. It reaches the corners of the room, touches the walls, sinks into the floor. Outside your window, something stops moving. The shadow that crossed the city to find you reaches the glass and freezes. It presses against an invisible wall. The wall shines with the faint gold of faith itself. The shadow shrieks without sound, recoiling as if burned. It circles once, twice, testing every opening. None exist. It was told you would be easy to find. It was told your faith had faded. But the moment it touched your name, it felt a strength it had never faced. Because your prayers, even the ones you thought were forgotten, had built a fortress. Every amen you whispered when you felt alone became a stone in that wall. Every tear you cried in trust turned into a spark of fire along its edge. Now that barrier stands between you and every curse ever spoken. The shadow retreats. Not gone, but waiting. It hides in the corner of the streetlight, watching. But you, my child, turn over and fall back asleep wrapped in peace you don't yet understand. Because even while you rest, heaven works. Far away, the witch opens her eyes. Something is wrong. The candles should have burned all night, but only smoke remains. She reaches for the picture, it's warm, too warm. When she looks closely, she gasps. The edges of your photo glow faintly, as if a light burns beneath the paper. She drops it. The bowl beside it cracks again, spilling black liquid across the floor. Her spell is unraveling. Why? She whispers. Her voice echoes back, why? She turns toward the mirror on the wall. For a second, she sees not her reflection but a blaze of white. It is shaped like wings. She screams, stumbling backward, covering her eyes. When she looks again, only her own frightened face stares back. She doesn't know that the light she just saw was not there to harm her. It was the warning, stop before the darkness you've called consumes you. But she can't stop now. Hatred has momentum. She gathers what's left of her tools and begins again, desperate, whispering faster, louder, forcing the air to obey. Yet every word she speaks rebounds. The smoke thickens, but not with power, only confusion. For the first time, she feels fear. At that same moment, you wake again. The room feels lighter this time. You sense something near, but it doesn't frighten you. You sit up, whisper another prayer, this time with certainty. I don't know what's happening, Lord, but I trust you. The words rise like fireflies. The air shifts, warmth spreads through the room. A peace that doesn't belong to this world settles around you. Outside, the shadow that waited begins to fade. It isn't destroyed, it is absorbed, pulled upward into that expanding light until nothing remains but silence. The curse has been broken before it ever began. Back in the witch's house, silence falls too, but hers is different. Her candles refuse to relight. The ashes on her altar blow away though no wind moves. The picture is gone. In its place lies only a small feather, white and weightless. She touches it and feels heat, not from fire, but from something living. Her eyes fill with tears. For a long time she sits without speaking, the feather glowing faintly in her hands. You, my child, lie down again. The fear that woke you has become comfort. You don't know the full story yet, but you will. When morning comes, you'll feel stronger, lighter. Because the battle that tried to begin in the dark has already been won. Sleep now. The night that wanted you has been turned into a shield of light. And every curse that rose against you has fallen into the dust from which it came. Morning arrives quietly. You wake to sunlight stretching across the floor like soft gold cloth. Everything feels lighter, but you can't explain why. You move through your room noticing small things, the clock ticking slower, the air sweet with calm. Somewhere deep inside, a whisper tells you that something invisible has changed. You brew your coffee, open the curtains, and stand by the window. Outside, the street looks the same, cars, people, birds, but it feels new. A neighbor waves. You wave back, smiling without effort. You don't know that this simple act, that smile, burns brighter than any candle on a dark altar ever could. While you go about your morning, far away, the witch sits in her dim room again. She hasn't slept. The feather she found glows faintly in the dawn light. She should throw it away, but she can't. Something about it feels alive. She turns it over in her palm and for the first time in many years, she whispers a prayer. It's awkward, small, unsure, but it's the first clean sound her heart has made in decades. Her shadow doesn't answer anymore. The silence is thick, not hostile but heavy with truth. She looks at the ashes of the broken altar and feels a strange pull, not of power, but of regret. She remembers when she used to be gentle, when her laughter didn't echo with bitterness. She remembers her mother's voice reading psalms before sleep. How did she end up here? She thinks. How did envy become my language? The feather in her hand pulses once like a heartbeat. It's a sign, though she doesn't yet understand it. She places it on the table and whispers, "If there is still mercy for me, show me." Back in your world, the day moves forward easily. Yet by evening a curious restlessness grows. You feel a pull to pray again, not out of fear but gratitude. You sit, close your eyes, and breathe. Words come without effort. Thank you for unseen battles you fight for me. Thank you for nights that end in peace. Those words rise like smoke, but this time not dark, not thick, but silver and bright. They travel far, reaching the edges of that lonely house where the witch sits. The air around her changes. She senses something soft brushing her face, like the warmth of a candle. Her heart jumps. For a moment she thinks she hears a voice. It's not loud, it's like memory-made sound. You were not created for darkness. She weeps. It's not the wail of guilt but the quiet sob of a heart remembering what light felt like. You finish praying, unaware of the connection. You simply feel peace settle deeper. You stand and look out at the night. Stars are scattered thick across the sky. It seems even they are closer than usual. Then, without warning, a breeze moves through your room. It's gentle, carrying no chill, only a sweetness like rain on dry earth. You whisper, "Is that you?" And a voice, still, certain, answers within, "Yes, my child, it is I." You freeze, not in fear but in awe. The voice continues, calm and strong. "You were never in danger beyond what I allowed. Every shadow that rose against you only revealed the strength I placed within you." Tears fill your eyes. "I didn't know I was that strong," you whisper. "You are not strong alone," the voice replies. "You are strong because I live within you." The wind settles. You sit in silence, but inside everything hums with presence. Far away, the witch dreams. She stands in a vast field under gray clouds. In her hand she holds that same feather. It begins to glow, brighter, brighter, until it becomes a torch. She lifts it instinctively and sees the horizon break open with light. When she wakes, dawn is again creeping through her window. For the first time, she doesn't feel dread. She feels small, humble, but strangely hopeful. She cleans her table. She gathers the ashes and carries them outside. The grass beneath her feet is cold. She sprinkles the ashes into the wind and whispers, "Forgive me." The wind takes them, scattering them across the fields. The moment the last grain leaves her hand, she feels weight fall from her chest. She cries again, but this time from relief. You sense all this without seeing it. During your morning walk, a sudden peace washes over you, as though someone somewhere made things right. You smile at strangers. You bless people silently as you pass. You feel energy return. Even your reflection looks softer, your eyes brighter. That's how light works, it multiplies. By noon, you receive a message from an old friend. They write, "I had a dream about you last night. You were standing in light and telling someone to forgive." You laugh, amazed, because you hadn't told anyone what happened. You simply whisper, "Thank you." But the story isn't done. Every battle of light and dark leaves ripples. Now those ripples are spreading, healing things you didn't know were broken. In your family, old misunderstandings start to fade. In your work, long-stalled projects suddenly move forward. In your mind, old fears lose their voice. Each blessing arrives quietly, but together they sing one song, "You are free." At night, the same voice returns. "My child, you wondered why I allowed the darkness to look at you. It was never to harm you. It was to show both realms who you truly are. You are proof that light cannot be extinguished." You whisper, "Then what happens to her, the woman who cursed me?" "She has seen her own reflection," the voice says. "Let mercy do the rest." Miles away, the witch, no longer chanting, no longer hiding, sits by her doorway watching the sunrise. She holds a cup of plain water, not a potion. She watches steam rise and smiles faintly. For the first time in years, she feels something she once thought gone forever, forgiveness for herself. She remembers your face from the picture she burned. It isn't hatred she feels now, but gratitude. "Whoever she is," she murmurs, "thank her God for saving me." A bird lands near her feet. It picks up a small piece of that white feather she thought she lost. The feather drifts upward, carried by the morning wind, and disappears into the sky. She laughs softly, whispering, "So this is what peace feels like." That same moment, you look up at the sky from your window miles away. A white feather floats past, catching a beam of sunlight before vanishing. You don't know where it came from, but you smile anyway. Something in your heart says, "It's finished." You close your eyes, whisper one last prayer before sleep, "Thank you for turning curses into stories of grace." The next morning rises slow and golden. You wake to birds you never noticed before, their songs tumbling through the open window like laughter. The air feels washed. You stretch, smile, and whisper a thank you you don't entirely understand. It isn't only relief, it's recognition. Somewhere, someone has been set free, and your soul knows it. The day unfolds quietly. You make breakfast, water the small plant on your window, answer a few messages. Everything ordinary, yet touched by softness, as though life itself has exhaled. Peace doesn't shout, it hums. And this hum surrounds you. That night, as dusk melts into the first blue of evening, you feel a gentle tug in your chest, the same pull that called you to pray before. You sit again near the window, the sky half purple, half silver. You whisper, "I'm listening." And the same still voice fills the air. My child, you have walked through shadow and did not bow. Now you will learn why light chooses certain souls. You close your eyes. The room around you dissolves. You see yourself standing in a vast plain made of light, not solid yet real. The air vibrates with unseen music. Shapes of brightness move around you, angels, countless, silent, watchful. One steps forward, its presence is warmth itself. It speaks without words. Every prayer you ever whispered built what you see now. Every act of forgiveness became a pillar in this field. We built while you wept. Now it stands forever. You reach out a hand, and when your fingers brush that light, images bloom. You see moments you'd forgotten, the night you prayed for someone who hurt you, the day you smiled at a stranger though your heart ached, the hour you chose peace over argument. Each memory glows until it becomes part of the light itself. Then another image appears, the witch, kneeling in her small yard, ashes drifting from her hands. She's crying, but not from pain. You watch as a new light, faint but pure, kindles in her chest. You realize you are watching grace move. The angel turns to you again. This is what the enemy never understands. When darkness attacks light, it only spreads the dawn further. Your forgiveness opened the gate that saved her. You fall to your knees, overwhelmed. I didn't know, you whisper. You were never meant to see the full circle until now, the voice says. But everything you endured has been teaching creation what love looks like. The vision fades slowly until you are back in your room. Night has deepened, the moon hangs low. You feel tears on your cheeks but they are warm, peaceful, clean. Far away, the woman who once cursed you wakes before dawn again. Her first thought is not of power but of peace. She lights no candle now, only opens her window and lets the real light in. She breathes deeply, whispers, "Thank you," though she doesn't yet know whom she's thanking. But heaven hears it as a prayer. The feather still rests on her table, no longer glowing but still impossibly white. She keeps it there, not as a charm but as a reminder of what she learned: darkness cannot love her, only light can. Meanwhile, you rise from your bed and step outside. The air is cool, the city quiet. You look up at the stars. They seem nearer now, friendlier. And suddenly you understand why the storm had to happen. Without the night, you would never have looked up long enough to notice the stars. You close your eyes and whisper, "Whatever comes next, I choose light again." The wind stirs. Somewhere in that invisible movement, the same calm voice answers, "Then nothing formed against you will ever stand again." The breeze that answered you lingers a moment longer. It seems to carry whispers, your own prayers returning as promises. Then everything stills. The city sleeps, even the stars feel hushed, as if waiting for one more word from heaven. You go back inside and sit on the floor. No candles, no altar, only quiet faith. The still voice returns, softer than breath. "My child, the battle was never between you and her. It was between light and the lies she believed. And love has already won." A warmth spreads through your chest. You see, in the space behind your eyelids, the thread that runs through every season of your life. Moments of laughter, moments of loss, nights of fear, mornings of courage, each one stitched together into a single pattern that glows. It forms a shape, a shield made of light. You understand now. Every hardship had been hammering that shield into being. The voice continues, steady and sure. "I did not let darkness touch you so it could harm you. I let it come close so it could learn what holiness feels like. You were my lesson to it. You are proof that the smallest spark can blind an army of shadows." Tears slip down your face. You whisper, then what happens to her now? Grace, the voice says simply. Grace happens. The same mercy that wrapped you when you fell now wraps her. You do not need to see the rest. Just know that every curse ends where forgiveness begins. Outside, dawn edges the horizon. The first light touches the roofs of sleeping houses, sliding down into streets and windows. When it finds you, it pauses, as if greeting an old friend. The warmth on your skin feels alive. It says, wordlessly, you made it through the night. Far away, the woman once called witch stands at her doorway. She watches the same sunrise. Her hands are empty, her heart is quiet. The feather lies on the table behind her, ordinary now, but she doesn't need its glow. She feels the change inside. For the first time in decades, she whispers a full sentence to the morning, I choose light. The wind catches her words and carries them across the distance. They reach you like a sigh, like the faintest echo of peace. You don't know why, but you smile. Something inside you feels completed. Not victorious in the way battles end, but whole, as if the world has taken a deep breath and settled. That evening, when the sun lowers again, you sit once more by your window. No visions, no voices, only contentment. You write a few lines in your notebook, I was not cursed, I was chosen. I was not hunted, I was taught. And every darkness I faced became a doorway for more light. You close the notebook and rest it on your lap. A small whisper of wind flicks through the pages, stopping on a blank one. You know what it means. The story is still being written, but now it will be written in light. You whisper one final prayer, thank you for every unseen mercy. Thank you for making me proof that love is stronger. The room feels full, of quiet, of safety, of presence. You breathe it in until it becomes part of you. Somewhere, unseen, angels record the moment. They do not use ink or paper. They write it into the fabric of creation itself. Here lived a soul who forgave the darkness, and because of that, the world grew brighter. The record glows for an instant, then folds into eternity. And the night, which once feared your name, learns to rest beneath your light. You sleep peacefully that night, dreaming of open fields and gentle rain. No shadows follow, only soft laughter echoing through the dreamscape. When you wake, morning light pours over you like a blessing. You feel new, renewed, reborn. Every heartbeat hums the same truth, you are light. You are loved. You are free.